everyone, this is Iron Torch 20 and I am welcoming you to a special one-off of NCAA basketball for the SNES. I figured with Selection Sunday and the tournament quickly approaching, I might as well take a look at this game, because this is a game that did a lot of different things for, just for being a basketball game, and actually did a lot of pretty cool things. So let's see, you have your menu option here. If you view the team statistics, you can basically look at the teams and then, what they're good at and then who their best players are. And it does help you out for picking a team you want to go through for the season, and then the tournament and the Final Four and all that fun stuff. And if you do want to break the game, pick North Carolina. They're one of the best teams in the league, or in this game. And then this is the guy you want shooting three-pointers all the time because, well, he has a really high field goal percentage and three-point percentage, and I think I've once racked up 100 points with this guy once. But I mean, that's just for fun. And it does feature a save, or it does have a save feature, and then you can just look at it that way. And then, once you beat the game, you can actually unlock a start from tournament or start from Final Four. And then of course you have one player exhibition and two player exhibition, you play against each other. And then you just have starting a new season. So what I'm going to do is just demonstrate a few things through a tournament game. And I like playing as St. John, so I'm going to go with them. And then you can just see who's good at where and then who does what. And so forth. And then usually in the sub-regional, this is the first and second round. And you can always bank on running into one of the three between Yukon, Oklahoma, Missouri, or Virginia. But in this case, I ran into Wake Forest in the first round, so I will just show off a few things. And then, of course, this is just a starting lineup, and the starting lineups are just sorted by the best scorers on the team. And then occasionally there's height for centers and, all those things. But anyway, this is what the game looks like. Unfortunately, this is a game that's aged very badly in terms of graphics and in terms of, sound and some of those things. But this is one of the first games that did feature a 3D isometric view. And one other thing that you can do is that you can use L and R to go through different plays. So let's see, they're in on 1-3-1 now, so I am going to go to a 1-2 stack and then try and counter that. Well, then I just got felled. And then if you press select, you can go to the menu, and then you can either, let's just go ahead and call timeout. And one other thing that this game does do is they give you team options to, let's see, either switch defenders, fast break, or try and go for rebounds. And then if you go to view, you can actually view the defenses, which is actually pretty educational if you're trying to get into understanding college basketball or basketball in general. And then you have your different zone defenses, which is of course for good shooters, and it's either for good shooters or against certain types of players. Like post players, you probably want to play the 2-3 zone, and then perimeter players, a 1-3-1 or 1-2-2 would work. And then I do also like playing the triangle and 2 on occasion, and that's actually one that my middle school team played. And then the box and 1 is only there if they try and drive the lane on you a lot. And then man-to-man is of course the traditional one where one guy guards another. And then pressure is full court. And then if you look at the offenses, you can find different things, and then it just depends on your personnel you have on the floor, and it also depends on what kind of players you have and what works. So we're gonna go back to the stack, and then you can save in the middle of the game, but at the same time there's really not much of a reason to. But anyway, you can also do passing with the A button, and then you can tell who's open and who's not based on their logo or whatever it is. Because if they go to green, then that means you're wide open and they can make the pass. And yellow, it could get knocked away, and then red, it's definitely going to either get stolen or knocked away. And then, yeah, see, unfortunately, Wake Forest likes to push the ball, so I am going to try and do a different defense here. And that was actually a really bad idea for me, or that I just did, is that in this game, the computer either tries to push the ball up to the post players, or they try and, okay, they're in a man now, or they try to just spread the ball around and then slow the game down. And then I do like, it's obviously easier to play against the ones that try and slow the game down, because it's easier to, you know, just hold them at certain points, and it's also easier to trap them in the half court. So let's see, they're going to try and push the ball, so I'm going to go to a 1-3-1 here, and then see how that goes. And then just like so. I mean, I'm not going to show off the whole game, but what I am going to show off is just certain little things. And one thing I did forget to mention about the graphics in this game is that ordinarily most basketball games had like a side-scrolling feature at this time, but you know, Hal decided to try something different, and for the most part it worked out pretty well. Let's see, unfortunately, because they put so much into the graphics, the game does run kind of slowly. But at the same time, this is one game that did get a lot of things right for its time. And I was kind of disappointed to see no Big Ten or no Pac-10. And that's just me using a half-court trap to my advantage. But at the same time, they didn't really have that many teams in this game, which is unfortunate, but, you know, that's just the way it goes. And there are specialty dunks in this game. It's, you know, just a neat little addition. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's the game and not... Okay, I think I've got to go to a different defense here. Yeah, unfortunately, the teams that try and push the ball in there are that aggressive. They do end up scoring a lot, so I'm going to have to try something different here. Let's try triangle and 2, see how that goes. But yeah, there is a lot of strategy in this game, which is one thing I do really appreciate about it. And see, I'm not going to show off the whole game, so I'm probably just going to cut until, you know, I end up reaching the end of the game. So I'll just see you at the end. There is one more thing I need to show off before halftime, and that is how to substitute players. And then they range from fresh, hot, and tired, and then weak. And that's just how you know, like, who's tired and who's not. Normally you can tell by them slowing down. So let's just go ahead and get a second unit in here. You can mix and match players pretty well, and that's normally the way to go. But I mean, I just like sending in units instead. So we're gonna do just that. And then I'll probably show off something at halftime, you know, just to show off some of the statistics, and then you can save and all those fun things. But yeah, as you can see, the triangle and 2 actually worked out pretty well for me. And then this 2-3 set's actually working out pretty well against their pressure defense. So, this time for reals, I'll see you at halftime. And then I do like playing a faster game early on. You know, just because you're going to get a lot of things done early. So yeah, I'll just see you at halftime. So now that it's almost halftime, let's just take a look at some of these other things. Let's see, they do pretty much let you go through the statistics of, you know, who did what. And as you can see, I got a lot of points on my guards. And then, you know, they got some things going early, but then I made some pretty good adjustments. You can make adjustments here just by substituting your players, as well as substituting, or besides substituting players, you can also change the settings if you want. And these, they don't have the license for the NCAA, of course, because, you know, the NCAA is one of those, I guess, pseudo-organizations that, well, there's a lot of scum involved in that, and I don't really want to get into it in this video. And then you can save if you want. So you have 4 save slots to work with, so that's always a good thing. But then, yeah, I mean, outside of that, there's really not much else here, so I will see you at the end of the game. And since we're almost done with the game, I might as well talk about some of the basics. You do have 10 seconds to make it across that half-court line. Otherwise, it's a 10-second violation and a turnover. And some of the tactics I like to use with this game is that I do like to push the ball a lot early on, and then hit good shots on occasion. If the shots are contested, they're much less likely to, you know, go in. And then sometimes you get fouls like that, which is just unfortunate, but it will. And then on the road, you're actually much more likely to get called on fouls if you end up jumping for a shot, or if you end up trying to steal. And then you steal by pressing X, and then you're actually more likely to get called for a foul if you are trying to be behind the player and then trying to steal the ball from there. But it's not that big a deal at home. And then sometimes you get bailed out by a call. And the calls in this game are kind of hit or miss. But then it does work out pretty well at the end. So, let's see, all I'm trying to do here is just finish the game off. And then, just some other basic stuff is that with the dunks, you can adjust the control pad accordingly and then get a different dunk. Just like so. I'm going to show off a reverse. But yeah, things I really do like about this game are that it does let you be creative with how you want to build it, or how you want to play the game. And then it also lets you be creative with the kind of stuff you want to run. And since we're almost at the end of the game, I might as well just run down the clock. But yeah, it is actually pretty fun to try and win with every team. And I have done tournament runs with some of the worst teams in this game, which you can check with last year's statistics. And it is something I really do enjoy. Let's see, I do have to show off a few more things. Let's see, I'm not sure if I'm going to show off regular season mode, but I might show off like one little part of it. But then, yeah, that's pretty much how this is going to go. Okay, at least when you get the rebound, you get a fresh shot clock, so let's just run down some more clock. But yeah, I am going to show off some things about the regular season, you know, just to let you know what it is and what they do and all those fun things. But then after that, I'll probably show off the Final Four, like who you run into in the Final Four, who you run into in the Sweet 16, and then the ending, and then those things. And basically with the tournament, it is 64 teams, and you just play until there's one left. You know, it's or there's a reason it's called March Madness, and that's just people just get into it around this time. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is to this first game. So after that, I am going to just show off the regional, which is actually the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 games. And then after that, they'll show off like the Final Four games and then the ending. So yeah, I'll just go ahead and do that. But then I do have to show off the end of the game, so I'm just going to hang tight here for about 30 seconds or so. But what I really do like about this game is that, I mean, it was much different than some of the other games, but I do got to applaud Hal for trying something new. And of course, this game doesn't have the easiest difficulty curve, but at the same time, this is a pretty tolerable difficulty curve in terms of when you first play it and then when you actually get good at it. So let's just run this thing down. And just like so. But yeah, that's the end of the game, and 40 points is actually a lot for me to give up, but you know, at the same time, Wake Forest did try and push the ball a lot. And whenever I'm playing against a pressure defense, I usually get most of the things done with guards. And then you can just see who did what here. And then it gives you the option to save, so that's all fine and good. But yeah, I'll just finish off this game, and then I'll show off like who you run into in the Elite Eight and, you know, those kind of things. I'll just see you then. Okay, well, this hasn't been going the best, but at the same time, I might as well show this off because Connecticut is playing a zone. So I have to go into spread to counter it. And then, yeah, basically what this is going to consist of is me trying to get good passes. And then occasional cuts to the basket like so. And then Connecticut is also one of those teams that brings the ball up, so you can get opportunities for steals and also try and get turnovers that way. And they do slow the game down, so that's one of the reasons why this game is so low scoring. You know, that's just something I wanted to show off. But yeah, I have bins in the game now because I'm trying to get some good shooting. Okay, I've got to sub him out soon. Or I've got to sub Richards out soon. I mean, just because I want to get a good shooter in. And then occasionally also wear down their guards. So, let's see. Damn it, didn't want to do that. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to show off for this game. I'll just see you at the Sweet 16 game, whenever that is. Well, after this possession, of course. See if this works. Okay, yeah, let's just go ahead and go to the next game then. In this next tier of the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 games, normally the teams you run into are the better teams, but not necessarily the elite teams. I mean, you have you know, a good team like LSU, and then you have Oklahoma State, who I'm playing next. But at the same time, that's really all I wanted to show off here. So yeah. And then here in the Final Four, this is where you run into the best of the best. And that includes, of course, the best teams in the game, which you can figure out through the last year's statistics. And I usually run into one of the two between Duke, Syracuse, or Kansas, or one of those three. And then you can occasionally get Arkansas too, but I ended up getting North Carolina in this draw. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to show off any Final Four games because, I mean, the gameplay is essentially the same. I mean, even though it is still very enjoyable. I mean, in fact, this game does a lot more games than a lot more things than most other basketball games. But yeah, I think I just have to show off the regular season, and then we'll just go ahead and get to the ending. So here we are in the regular season, and basically all the regular season entails too is you playing against teams from your own conference. And I decided to be St. John's again, you know, just for the purposes of. And then you can see the standings and all those other things. I mean, you don't really have to win every game in the conference, but you do in the tournament, and because, you know, once you lose in the tournament, your season's done. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to show off with the regular season. And this is a game that actually happened yesterday from the time I'm recording this, and then it turns out Providence ended up winning, so we will probably be seeing them in the tournament soon. Okay, I am here and ready to show off the ending. I'm just playing through the championship game on one of my old save files. And yeah, they did play a zone, so I did figure out how to get through that with the Tar Heels because they have very good three-point shooters. And then they do like to slow the game down, so I was able to take advantage of that stuff. So we're just waiting for the clock to run down here. So I might as well get my final thoughts on the game. I do really like how the Mode 7 graphics work. Unfortunately, they did have to skimp on some other things, but overall, this is a pretty fun, pretty enjoyable game. And I also do like the strategy involved. I also really do like the, you know, just the different things you can do. And not a whole lot of other games did that. But yeah, this is just my stats, and yeah, that's Davison getting 30 points. And now for the ending. Essentially, this is just the origin of how basketball came to be. And then I do like the music here too. And then I have actually been to the Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield, Massachusetts. And then I really did enjoy it. But yeah, that's okay, slow down. Alright, well that was fun. Yeah, see, I do have to scroll through this thing a little bit slower because whenever you press a button it says something new. And then I do want to play through this whole thing. But yeah, that's pretty much it for NCAA basketball. You know, if it's worth... I mean, if you have an emulator, go ahead and go check it out. I mean, if you are a basketball fan, go ahead, and even if you're not, you know, it's still worth it to see some of the things that games tried on, or experiments that games tried, and succeeded. And of course, because they didn't have the license, they used all these names for some of the players.